Hello, everyone, and welcome. Paula Vail here, your host of Choices, Finding Your Joy. I am just so pleased to have a fantastic lady with us today. You're going to enjoy her so much, and I'm so excited for the topic that we're going to be speaking on. I have with us today AnneDeidre. She is a best-selling author, speaker, coach. She's been featured on Huffington Post, New Hampshire Chronicle, ABC, NBC, CBS, TV, Fox News Radio. She is just absolutely amazing, and she's going to share information about her new bestseller book today. And we are going to have fun. Welcome, Anne. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Paula. This is awesome. Such an honor.
I love it. I love it. And I love our topic of intuition that we're going to be talking about today. I just think that's fantastic. Well, let's begin. Share a bit about yourself with everyone and what brought you to where you're at today.
Yes, most of my life I didn't realize that I was intuitive. So about 12 years ago, I had a very difficult time, like many of us in life, and things were really going off the tracks, I want to say. But I found a meditation technique. I started doing that meditation. Within weeks, I was writing my first book. And now 8 books later, I continue to be very creative and my intuition really unleashed. So I love sharing this message and opportunity to do so. It's been miraculous, really.
I love it. I love it. Well, tell us about your book, and let's talk about intuition and kind of break that down and share what you think are some important points on that.
And thank you. I have it right here. It's Intuition, 7 Basic Instincts to Change Your Life. And I find that in life, we have inner guidance, but it's not always easy to listen to it or follow it or even know what that feels like or sounds like. You know, am I supposed to follow this thing that I think I should do, but then somebody else doesn't think it's such a good idea? And we end up talking ourselves out of things that are actually really right for us. So there's good reason for that. We have a left brain and a right brain, and the left brain is very practical and reasonable and rational. But the right brain is really creative and intuitive. And so a lot of us are really right brain dormant and left brain dominant, I want to say. So I love that in the book, I'm able to discuss different ways to really amp up this side of us. And it's really some easy ways. I mean, being creative or going to an art museum, anything visual will help that right brain develop, and we can be more intuitive.
Yes, I love it. Would you say getting out in nature would help with that?
Oh my gosh, yes. When I was writing this book, I thought the Basic Instinct 3 on prayer and meditation was going to be, I felt I knew what I was going to be writing about. And as I started writing it, I started getting these insights about healing, which is really going back to wholeness. I feel like there's no fixing we really need to do, that we're already healed and whole. And then I started writing about nature. Nature is medicinal, nature is meditative, and absolutely. I mean, even with hertz, there's scientific studies that trees carry a frequency and a vibration that is very high. And so when you stand next to a tree or even, touch the tree on the bark, if you're feeling low, it can actually, I say, take the weight of the world off your shoulders. And the high vibration that nature holds is really beneficial for our energy. And that helps our lives.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So what would you say to someone wanting to tune in more to their intuition? And also, a difficult thing I think for many is if they have a bit of intuition, but yet they ignore that and they think, oh no, maybe not. Maybe that's not what I'm feeling. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, in the book I do discuss 4 ways that intuition can show up in our lives. And it is a feeling. We can get a gut instinct. I say there's a no-brainer and some, such as goosebumps when we get that. That's the way that your body is telling you, pay attention. This resonates with truth. So your body really is talking to you. So pay attention to your feelings. Those are really, really, really great roadmaps and are an intuitive sense, how you feel, as well as your imagination. That's another intuitive channel, really. So everybody has an imagination. You can imagine a sunset. So you can actually use your intuition to create your life by imagining the life that you want to have in the now instead of wishing things could happen. Those are just a couple of different things that I discuss. So there's a lot to it. And I tell people, don't feel bad if you don't feel intuitive, because I've trained and I've studied and I've really worked with this. And but once you get a few of these things, your vibration raises and it gets a lot easier to hear it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And imagine that you have instead of wish that you had, that you have it. So when you imagine, it's already there and you can feel it.
You can. And the feeling, the creative visualization that we may have heard about in the vision boards are wonderful. And I have a template in the book about feeling it as if it already is in the now. So not just looking at it and say, someday I'll have this or that, but to feel like it's happening now and you actually draw it to you and magnetize it to you.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So break it down a bit on your book. So beginning to end, is it giving the different breakdowns of ways we can use our intuition and then guiding us through building that?
You are very intuitive, Paula. I knew it. So I start out with the 7 energy centers called the chakras. The first basic instinct is called chakra power. So the 7 main energy centers from root to crown. When I've been working as an intuitive healer for years, I've noticed that people's belief systems and what other people believe, maybe in their families or around them, many people are intuitive and sensitive and absorb these belief systems. So they think that they can't do something because someone around them can actually pick up these things, whether it came from them or someone else. But in these energy centers, we can clear them, we can activate them. So whether it's stability or feeling creative or feeling aligned with your own truth or expressing yourself or, getting in touch with your heart and soul and mission and things like that. All of that is in these energy centers. So in the book, I discuss how to be aware of this, how to clear some of these things that you really don't need to carry with you. And then I get into divine creativity. I started painting about 25 years ago, and I didn't consider myself an artist by any means. It was fun. It actually helped me through some very difficult times, and I enjoyed it. But then when I started meditating, I heard my intuitive voice say, get your paintings together, you will write a book. And that voice was right. I put those paintings together and my first book was born. So divine creativity is something that you may have a hobby or writing or decorating or dancing. It can clear your energy, and it's a really profound healing technique. So yes, I go from ways to unblock your energy and then ways to activate it, I say, in order to really fulfill your potential in life. You don't have to feel badly. You can feel great.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And with that clearing, then these other energies can come through and manifest.
Right. Yeah, we've heard of the law of attraction, a lot of us, and there's a reason, people, why doesn't it work? Well, it really helps if you align your energy to that which you want to match what that is. Einstein said everything is energy. So we want to match our energy to the frequency of what it is that we want. The joy, feel that joy and you'll have more joy.
Yes. Finding your joy. I love it. Oh, perfect. Would you say intuition is a bit like a muscle? The more we use it, the stronger it grows?
Yes, I think always, though, you're going to get the mental realm, I call it the mind, and that part of us, the ego, the personality, that's going to perhaps lovingly say, don't try that, you may not succeed. It's like our inner critic will show up. But also with some techniques that I talk about in the book, such as prayer and meditation and being in nature, and those ways that we can kind of out vibe that. We're going to have that. I feel like the great masters that walked the planet had this part of them perhaps that they were able to come to terms with and just like let the thoughts go by without letting them run you. So I think even some of the most advanced people with, all the intuitive abilities, we're still going to have our mind maybe try to talk us out of things, but it is a muscle. And the more we do it and trust it and write it down and see at the end of the day, if you followed it and keep track of it, and that'll help you notice more of what's going on with your intuition.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And so I like the idea of writing it down, because so many of us have crazy busy days. We can have the job, the family, all these things that take up so much of our day. So, writing down, I would think, would be very good for that. Anything else you'd recommend, when trying to work this growth and this creation into a big, busy life?
Yes. And those hobbies too, I feel are just really saying again, these things that we don't think are important in our busy lives, like getting some paints out and having fun and taking a day off and not really have anything planned to do. I feel like that gets you in the frame of mind to be able to listen to yourself. So instead of overscheduling yourself, even on your day off, I don't know about you, but most of my days off, I have a lot of things to do. Right? But let's try some downtime. Let's absolutely have nothing to do, even for maybe 20 minutes, and see if maybe we get some great insight or idea, because those ideas that come to us are really intuitive ideas that we are meant to do something with.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Do you, as far as, building your intuition and being open to that, do you bring any communication with, let's say, the archangels, anything along that line?
I do, yes. Thank you. Wonderful. I do talk about that in the book too. I have prayers that I say of connection with my higher self, with archangels. I feel like Michael, Uriel, and Ariel help, particularly Ariel in the nature segment of the book I found. And we have so much divine support, really.
We do. Yes.
Call on them, because with free will, there's not an angel that with the free will, it's a spiritual law. They're not going to jump in and change things. So we can voluntarily say, I'd appreciate some assistance with this or help. Whatever works.
Yes. And isn't that wonderful that we can do
life-changing, totally life-changing. I just discovered that about a decade ago. So
now, did you think earlier in your life that this is where you'd be? An author of all these books, helping all these people. I really feel you have really found your passion. And
thank you. I did, and I think that was so difficult. I think maybe that's true for many of us doing this kind of work, is that there wasn't anything in my school other than art classes, and I wasn't particularly very good at that back then, or writing for that matter. And I didn't really find this until about a decade ago, and being in my 50s now, I could look back and go, it would have been nice to know in college why I kept changing majors, because what I'm doing now has absolutely nothing to do with that. Although I did get a degree in art history. But, I feel like this is definitely a calling, and a lot of us, I think it's a time in history for us to come together and really raise the consciousness on the planet in a way that really wasn't available throughout certain points in history. So I think it's pretty magnificent.
Yes. And, I love that statement, our calling, for all of us to just be in tune to what our calling is what we can bring into our lives.
Yeah, I think it's important to be in touch with your heart too. And I write about that in the book as well, because in our mind, we can be very educated and very smart, and that's fabulous. And those things that make sense make us feel comfortable. But the thing that intuition does is it throws something at us that doesn't necessarily feel comfortable or easy. But yet it's so exciting, we can hardly believe like that could anything be possible. But our comfortable state just wants to stay the same. But yeah, there's,
But yet when we take that step and say, okay, I'm a little uncomfortable, but I'm going to do it. It is. It's
Call.
exciting.
Gotta answer the call.
Gotta do it. Oh, I love that. I love that. So tell me a little bit about the coaching that you do as well.
Well, I discovered after I wrote my first book that, and also when I became a professional intuitive, I started giving readings for people. And I noticed that a lot of people would come back for more readings, and it really ultimately turned into coaching. And it really seemed to just take off and have a life of its own. I'm not saying that I feel it was very guided by spirit. I started clearing people's energy centers and their chakras. And when I did that, I was able to see what gifts and talents that they held that were unique. And then I started helping people build businesses with them as I was building my own. And so it's really been phenomenal to follow this inside intuitive voice. And I have taken classes. I did train. I'm a certified angel reader, for instance, but it was starting with something and being willing to do it that unfolded everything else. So I say, don't wait to feel perfect to start doing something that you may feel unsure about. Just do it and then watch it grow and unfold.
Oh, I love that. I love that, Anne. What a perfect message, for those out there that have, something in mind or something they're yearning to try. That's a powerful statement for that.
And classes are great, and some of these things that I've taken and I train people in are not available at universities yet, but I do feel at some point, I tell my kids that all the time. I have two boys, one in college and one going into college, and I went to see colleges with them last fall, and just, I'm an author, so that's a wonderful title, but energy clear is not something that, I haven't seen any college campus lately.
Yes.
I said, someday this may be, something people offer at universities, but
it may be. You never know. You never know. Oh gosh. Well, what would you like to share with the viewers? Just the most powerful message that you'd like to give them about how immense intuition is and how much it could really do for their lives. What would you say on that?
Yeah, I would say befriend yourself. Have noble compassion is what I call it in the book, where you can witness yourself. It's not that you're not going to have a day where you feel emotions. I feel the more people get comfortable with their emotions, the more joy they're going to be able to feel. Emotions are funny. We think we're feeling them, but a lot of times we may not be. We could be stuffing these emotions of sadness, anger, and fear back into our energy systems. And I say, if you're going to eat a bowl of ice cream, just enjoy it. Don't do it because you're trying to cover up a feeling that you're uncomfortable with, because that's only going to wreak more havoc in your life. So if you're willing to process your emotions, you're going to be more available for yourself, and be very kind to yourself while you're going through things. Be your own best friend. And then when you do that, you're going to be in the energy where you can hear your intuition. Intuition is a frequency, and anger, fear, and sadness, while they're emotional states we all have, they dampen our ability to be able to listen to our intuition. So we're not going to avoid these emotions, and sometimes they're very cleansing, but notice that you're having them instead of just engaging in them and letting them overtake you, really. So thank you, Paul. I feel very strongly about that. And I do feel like the creativity is a really great help for the emotional things we go through.
Yes.
Thank you for no reason other than, a very good reason actually is to deal with your emotions, or writing in a journal to deal with your emotions so that you can be more clear. I think it's really important.
So for writing in a journal with our emotions, so let's say we have something that we just can't seem to stop thinking about, a sadness in our life, or something we hear, or something outside us. So step one would be writing in a journal.
Yeah, I have some exercises in the book too. I have something called higher self writing. If you're having an upset with somebody, I would say, a lot of times when you speak to somebody, we can speak off balance and off center, and not necessarily from our heart. And then people get defensive. But if you write down a dear so-and-so letter and get that emotional content out of you by expressing it, it's going to free you up and help the flow get back. And so I think it is important. Just get it out in a very healthy way. That's important.
Yeah. Let that joy in. And,
Yes.
I love it. And would you say intuition is really, really huge for us as far as connections we make, people we meet, things that come into our lives, that our intuition will guide us in that way? I'm always amazed by that. I might meet someone on a trip randomly, and it's just a perfect connection, you know?
Yeah. Well, that you're a high vibrational energy, I can tell. And so you are going to resonate with people that are like-minded, and we do find each other, I want to say. You know, it's a wonderful time in history for us to really share our own unique gifts and abilities with each other in the world in a way that I don't think's ever been possible quite like this. So I think there's a lot of us from, you know, whether you believe in past lifetimes or not, but I think a lot of us are kind of regathering and helping to reestablish the energy on this earth for really what I call heaven on earth. I feel like it's very real.
And I've always felt it's very exciting to know that the energy I personally put out does resonate. I mean, you can walk into a room full of people with a big smile on your face, and you can just feel, you know, the change that makes. And that's an exciting thing for each one of us, I think.
It is. I've noticed the lightness around people that I speak to, whether it's someone, you know, from a local cable company, let's say. I'm noticing, even though we may turn on the news and see some otherwise, I feel there's so much love on the planet, and I really feel like there'll be just more of that. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh, you are just, you are such a delight, Anne. Tell us a little bit briefly. You mentioned all your other books. Tell us a bit about those if you don't mind.
Oh, thank you. Yes, the first book that I wrote was Inner Visions, The Healing Path of Art. That was the first book where I had that intuitive voice, say, get your paintings together. And I did. I literally wrote it out. I didn't have a computer. It was 2004. I wrote it in a notebook, and then I typed it. Then I found a publisher. The whole series of things that happened after that was miraculous. The publisher came to me, flew me to California. The whole thing was just amazing. And then I wrote Extreme Intuitive Makeover, 55 Keys to Health, Wealth, and Happiness. That was based on the coaching I was starting to do. And then I became a book publisher. My publisher noticed I was working with a lot of authors, and she gave me the opportunity to have my own imprint company. So I've been publishing group books with women that want to be authors, because I found it so fantastic to be able to write and share in that way. So I've been publishing group books with my series, The Inner Circle Chronicles. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming out this fall. And then I just wrote Intuition. So I feel like, yes, I did not know in my earlier years that I would be doing this, but apparently I am. It's not stopping. Yeah. And thank you very much. It really is a passion, because it was, we do go through some difficult things. And that's another thing I work with my clients on. Whatever you have learned, you can teach. So if you get a degree in things, that's fantastic. But if you've learned something in life, if you've gone through something and you've overcome it, you are a teacher for that. And I've learned to put a business together in ways to be able to create a foundation for me to share this message of some things that I personally overcome.
Yes. Oh, that is so true. That is so true. And gosh, you started this stream and it's become a river. I mean, it's beautiful, Anne.
Thank you, Paula.
All that you've done and all the lives that you affect, and oh gosh, with about 3 or 4 more minutes in the show, what last words do you want to leave with everyone today, Anne?
I would say pay attention to those feelings, those ideas that you have. Those are golden divine ideas and write them down. And if you don't know how to do something, ask a question like, what would it take for me to be able to do this? Say if you don't know how to, start a business, what would it take? Get a conversation going with the universe, because when you ask questions, you will receive answers. So be open to knowing that if you have an idea for something, you're meant to do it. And if you don't know how, somebody else does that can help you, or you can be spiritually guided to do it. So many things I've done, I didn't know how to do, but then got the tools or the insight to be able to do it, as well as connect with the people that knew how to do what I didn't know how to do. So just some tech things. But yes, trust your ideas and learn to trust your intuition by writing things down and paying attention to it.
Yes. Oh, and that is so fantastic. Ask for help, ask the questions, put that out there. Oh my gosh, that's a huge statement. That is so fantastic. It's just so exciting. Intuition and the connections and what we can manifest is just so amazing to see in the lives of others and those around us. And you are just a joy. I absolutely love it.
Thank you. So are you, Paula. Thank you so much.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. And we may just have to do another show, Anne. This is
fabulous.
You have a lot to share, honey. So, but yeah, I'm so grateful. Love, hugs, and blessings to everyone out there. So grateful to have you with me every week. And I'm so grateful to have had you on today. I'm so excited for all you do.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And everybody watching.
Love, hugs, and blessings.
Love, hugs, and blessings. Namaste.
Bye.
Bye.